Welcome to the 180 podcast, brought to you by BTFU. I'm Braith and Anasta. Joining me, Reni, Maitua for season 2026, and we are back.
We're back, Braith. We're back, baby.
How good?
It's been a while, eh?
It has been a while.
It's been since, mid-October since we've done a pod?
Yeah, a bit rusty.
I will say that I've spent a lot of time with you over that period, so I haven't missed you.
Let's talk about that. What have you been up to? We always start with the check-in.
Yeah.
This should be a fair check-in. I mean, it's been a few months.
Well, as you know.
How's the welfare check-in? Well, I just want to see.
Welfare's good. Training hard.
Yeah.
Went to Samoa for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
It was everything I expected and more. It was really good to reconnect with my culture, spend time with family. It was a little bit overwhelming and I was really nervous, especially having the language barrier over there. But, I found a routine. I had my cafe, I had my gyms, and I had some of the family come over and visit. We went over to Hawaii and just went, exploring and just being, it's my 5th time to Samoa, but being able to reconnect with my culture, I was ready for it. And, I just can't wait to get back over there.
Bit of an eat, pray, love. For Reni Maitua.
Yeah. So I came.
Are you finding yourself again?
Well,
or did you ever lose yourself?
No, I never lost myself. Everyone said, "What are you running away from?" I said, "No, what am I running to?"
Yeah,
right. What about yourself, mate? We went to Bali.
See, there's the wisdom already.
Yeah.
So you've come a long way.
I've come back. I'm on another frequency, Braith.
I like it.
Right.
I like it.
I am fully prepared for this year, and I can't wait to just dive in.
Love it.
What about yourself, mate? We did go to Bali together.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. Yeah. We went to Bali. Went to Bali again with Hendo and Azza and a few of the boys, Clint. And then kids came over.
The welcome to first grade.
Welcome to first grade.
Do you want to explain to our viewers what that means?
Yeah. Well, we went to Bali with 2 of my best mates I grew up with. Reni knows them well, Azza and Hendo. They'll be watching this too, and Clint. And they talked it up. We hadn't done it for a long time. When you get to our age, you don't really go on trips with the boys much. The ones you went to school with, and talked a big game. We got over there. It was only a 4-day trip. I was still in my routine of training and, eating well but still ripping in hard. And they'd bag me, They'd bag me. I look at him, he's getting up at 6 and doing his training and taking the piss out of me. They were talking a big game, Reni.
Yep.
Unfortunately, they're not first graders. And we found out because after the first real crack that we had, they were floored for 3 days. In bed, coming out of their mouth and their ass. Bali belly hit them hard.
I'm very surprised. Hendo is a first grader off the field.
Yeah, but you know what? A lot of people think they're first graders, right? They think it.
They think they are.
And they may perform like a first grader, in second division and third division.
Yeah.
But when you actually got to step up and the bright lights are on of Bali.
The pressure.
You either deliver or you go to water.
That's right.
They literally went to water there. But, I put it all over my socials. I had a bit of fun with it. And I'd never had so much traction in my life. And these poor bastards, one of them works on the wharves, Azza, and he's just been copping it.
Yeah, but Azza's never been a first grader. He'd be lucky to be a park footy player.
And he's an easy victim too.
He'll have a hangover and be depressed for 3 weeks. But we love you, Az.
Yeah, he's definitely watching, so he won't be happy about that. But yeah, we did the Bali trips. Plenty of time with the kids, which is good because during the season, mate, I don't see them as much as I'd like. A few trips to the Hawkesbury, which was good.
Bit of a wakeboarder now, I see.
Yeah. I'd never wakeboarded before, Reni.
Yeah.
And now I think I'm a pro.
You picked it up pretty quick?
Yeah, the first few times I had no idea how to get up. As soon as I got up, I was sweet. But I've been back. I've got the bug.
Yep.
Trying to learn some tricks now.
Yeah, you went back on the weekend, didn't you?
Yeah, went back on the weekend without the kids and had a great time. But yeah, apart from that, mate, I've been pretty good. I haven't been ripping in too much.
No.
Been training hard still. Ready for the season, mate. Ready for the footy season because, the cricket, the Ashes is okay. It's always on that time of year and everyone sits around and watches it and probably because it's the only thing on, but it's still entertaining. But, the rugby league, you can't replace it. Last year was such a big year and, we've got Vegas approaching in a few weeks, which is going to be good.
Just before we touch on Vegas, this idiot decided to play on the Nines in the weekend.
Yeah.
Ant Mitchell does a great job with that Nines Premier League. I think that's what it's called. And
is it Ant Mitchell who does that?
Yeah.
I like it.
And I'll premise this by saying it was a great event, but when you're 43 going on 44, not a good idea.
I'm pretty sure I told you that.
Yeah. I think most people told me that.
Yeah.
I thought I had the K's in the legs. I was feeling strong. I was feeling fit. I think I've torn my right meniscus, which is my good knee.
Smart move, yeah.
I didn't turn up on the Sunday. I couldn't get out of bed.
I was about to say, I heard a rumour you didn't lob up the second day.
I couldn't move, Braith.
Did you rip in at all?
No, not one bit. No, not one bit.
I thought you might have had a
Drove
really
back
special.
to Cooley, had dinner, stayed at my mate Mark Matthews' house, and mate, I could not move, Braith. Yeah. They weren't too happy about it. They said, "Can you just drive and just come support the team?" So support the team. We're not in the finals. Like, I supported the team yesterday.
No offence either. You just met the team when you got up there.
Mate,
that reminds me of actually the start of last year when you were going to play for Lapa A grade. And
I did get I did have a try. I did have a try assist that I did post on Instagram. I
saw that.
Right?
Jeez, that was good hands.
Skip overs
and you wrapped around too.
And I got a message from Lapa straight away.
Oh, you're going to go again this year? All right.
$1,000 cash per game.
Per game?
Oh,
cash?
No, that's right. That's my offer.
No tax?
Not my offer.
Not paying tax on that?
But let's not bring up tax.
Let's not disclose that on the podcast. Yeah. We've got a big year coming up, bud, don't we? For BTF.
We do.
We're going to really try and we're going to expand, right? You got another show that you're going to do, which you can talk to very soon. But we want to cover all sports. We really want to make this a one-stop shop for everyone who listens and watches, so that they can come on BTFU and we cover UFC, AFL, you name it, we'll do it. And we're looking forward to this year, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
Plenty of giveaways too. We're going to have heaps of giveaways, a lot more than last year. I know we gave away a few jerseys, but even tickets to events. We're going to cover it all events too, not just sports. So it's an exciting time. We've been working hard on this, haven't we, in the preseason? And this is the first step. But as the season goes on, we're really going to evolve, and we want you guys to come along for the journey. You're going to enjoy it.
We've still got Unibet on board. We've got Fireball, obviously, and then a couple of new announcements coming in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, which is good.
Yep, awesome.
Now, 360.
Yeah. What's doing there? When do you start? Anything new coming up? Do you need me on every week?
Yeah. I'll get sick of you sitting here. No, of course, I'd love to have you on as much as you can get on this year. And the reason I brought it up is because a lot of people were asking actually after the post yesterday for the 180 podcast when 360 is coming back on. 360 starts the week of Vegas, so we'll fly over and believe we'll film Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then there's the game day, which I'll be on the coverage for that. I think Buzz is coming over again. I think it's the same crew as last year for 360. Obviously, we'll get you on there as much as we can this year. And, mate, I'm pumped for it, 360 is such a high drama show with so much information and rumours and developments throughout a year that, I'm missing it. And I think a lot of the fans are missing it too because, people get a lot of information from it. So, pumped for that. Vegas is going to be the one where we do that. There's nothing really new in terms of 360. It doesn't need to be. It kind of it builds itself because there's so much news. Like every week there's a new story. There's either someone leaving, someone coming, someone stuffed up, someone's played out of their ass, someone's underperforming, whatever it is, there's always stories and there's always drama in our game. Mm-hmm. Love it or hate it, there is and there will always be. So
just a quick shout out to Peter that wrote on our Instagram page, 180 sucks. Bring back 360.
And get buzzing. Get buzzing.
Yeah.
And with Vegas, we're going to be over there.
We are.
We're going to be over there this year. Now, we're trying to plan a podcast for over there.
Yeah, it'd be good if we can get one going.
Yeah, we're not going to promise that yet, but we're looking into it right now because we're going to both be there and we're going to be on the ground. We'd like to do something while we're there for everyone, and we're going to try and make that happen, aren't we?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Hey, hang on. I'm scared to actually say that.
I know where this is going.
I'm scared to say that because
I know where this is going.
When I'm thinking, it's his first time over there for the NRL, and I'm trying to plan it, and I can just see myself organising a podcast, and then I'm ringing Reni and just getting nothing in return. And
I'll be at the Flamingo, mate, if you're looking for me.
are you going for work or pleasure?
I'm going for work. I'm going with the Arthur Beetson Foundation. There's about, I think, 20 people that have paid to go. So each day we
What are you
spend
doing over there, though?
I think luncheons and, the full footy
Fucking
experience.
Geez, that's hard work.
Bit of roulette, the slot machines. I'm sure.
That's just got disaster written all over
I'm sure a
it.
few strip clubs. We'll have it all.
That's got disaster written all over it.
No, it'll be good for us to catch up and get a pod done for sure. I'm going to go check
Is
out.
Fishy going this year?
I was with Fish on Sunday,
Yeah.
and he mentioned you. He spoke about you. He said you were unreal last year. He told me about a big Semi Burgess.
Oh, my Semi. Let's not go there.
And how much of a punish he was, but he loves Semi as well.
Yeah. Semi just got straight. I think we spoke about it last
I won't
year.
even mention a first-grade coach that was in the crowd having a good time as well.
Oh, yeah.
But, he's over there on the 18th of March, so he's going to miss this one. He's spewing.
That was fun last
So we
year.
leave, around the 2nd of March, 3rd of March. So, we missed him by a couple of weeks.
Do we know who the after party is? Because the first year was ludicrous.
Luda.
Yeah, and that was fun. And then this year was someone else, but I went to Fisher instead. Mm-hmm. So that's normally where everyone lands. So we have to find out who's doing that.
I'm there for work, mate. It's my pleasure.
You'll have a booth there for sure.
I can't afford a booth. Only if you're going.
Yeah, true. All right. All right, let's get to the current NRL news. We'll try and touch on a few things that are happening over the off-season and heading into this year. Listen, a lot's been covered, with the obvious, with the Zach Lomax situation. We'll get to that maybe a little bit later on because it's been beaten to death. But you want to touch on NRL expansion.
Yeah.
I know you kind of were pretty passionate about that when we're talking about the show today, and whether it's a gimmick or it's going to be successful in terms of the growth of the game. What I got a feeling you got concerns about it, and what if you do, what are they?
Mate, my biggest concern is, and it's always been the talent pool. Like, I'm looking at the Bears signings, and this is no disrespect to anyone that signed with the Bears. Toby Sexton, he'll get you around the park, 2 years. Then you've got 3 blokes from England, Harry Newman, Luke Smith, Amali, I don't even know how to say his last name respectfully. They're from the London Broncos. Liam Henry, he's a toiler from the Panthers. Isaac Fa'asua Maliawe, he's coming. I didn't even know that he went to the Catalan Dragons. Is that correct? Wasn't he at the Titans? Anyway, you've got Sean Russell, you've got Josh Curran, Wishart,
Well, he'd be going to
Meaney.
Catalan Dragons this year and coming back.
Right. And you look at that side, and it's tough for them to compete, I guess, I think the beauty of the Dolphins is they got some great leaders in Melbourne Storm players with the Bromwich brothers. They got Kafusi. They were able to jag Toby, Farnworth. And, they built a team. Their team's looking really good this year, especially with Gilbert coming back. My concern is then PNG as well. Not only that, it's the whole relocation and moving your family to Perth. I mean, it's not just the player. You've got to deal with your wife.
Which is worse.
Right? Wife, kids, relocation. You're leaving every 2 weeks. And imagine moving to PNG and living in a compound, right?
Yeah.
They're going to build
Well,
this
we don't
huge...
need to deal with a wife.
Yeah, well,
Most
I don't.
people do.
I definitely
I've had a
don't.
few already.
Well, you
know
have
what?
to... Yeah. I'm just concerned that we might have been a little bit too ambitious.
Okay.
What's your thoughts?
I've been pretty strong on this. I'm not sure if I was a while back on the podcast here or on 360. I get mixed up sometimes where I have some of my views and opinions, but I've always thought we don't have enough talent for high quality for this many teams in our game. And, you only got to look at Super League and no disrespect to them, but when you watch the Super League compared to here, it's very different.
Yep.
And even the lower tier teams here in Australia, there's a big gap at the moment. That gap's only going to get bigger over the next couple of years with both Perth and PNG. Looking at the team and the names you just mentioned, that's not even close to a successful NRL squad. And if you compare to the Dolphins, Perth, Dolphins have been around forever.
Yes.
You've got a footy club that has been established and a successful one up there in Queensland for a long time. And they're in Queensland. So, resources, not having to travel, Queensland being a lot more convenient to live, easier to take your family to travel, all that, right? Now, you go to Perth, very isolated in a town that really know nothing. Well, yeah, you know what? They're not rugby league at all. 6 hours just for a game. Yeah. If your family move over, they're obviously going to be away from their family. Just to even go back and visit their own, like it's big, right? And that's why it's going to be hard, And again, there's no real salary cap compensation
I've heard you speak about that.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that. I just think they should, in a circumstance like that. I think to land a big fish, you got to pay overs, because these guys like a Tino, even a Cameron, where there was some interest there last year, they're competitive guys and they want to win competitions. That's one thing, but they also want to, be around other players that they think they can win a competition. But they got to sacrifice, possibly go backwards a couple of years to go forwards. And if you're going to do that, you got to be getting paid a hell of a lot more money, And the thing is with that is if the NRL let these guys get more money, it's beneficial for everyone, for the whole game. I've said it. If the Bears aren't a success, a failure, it's going to be costly.
You don't want to see them get beat by 50.
No, they got a long road. They got a long road ahead of them. I love the idea that we're growing the game. Peter talks about globalisation, and that's really what he's doing. He's trying to, have a bigger market.
Maybe just a step too far this time.
Yeah, maybe we'll find out, but more lucrative kind of. All across Australia to take over the world, to show our game off across the globe is what he wants. And it's a great goal and dream. And if anyone can do it, it's him. Mm-hmm. But I'm really concerned about both of them. But Perth will be the first one next year that comes. And it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of the year plays out, who they get on board, because they need some star power. They haven't really landed even Wishart, Wishard's been great at Melbourne, off the bench for Melbourne.
Yeah.
No one knows what position he is.
Yeah.
Is he a 9? Is he a 6? He's definitely not a 7. He'll be really good for them, but is he going to carry a team to victory, each week? Like, is he going to say, get on my back and, it's hard to envision, really. I can't see that. Anyway, that's kind of, it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out.
Yep, for sure.
Let's have a quick touch on R360 and because we on this podcast, I said Zach was going, and I'd heard it before it broke, and we showed that on our socials. But it was true. He was gone. He turned his back on Parramatta. Do you want to just touch on R360 first, then we'll talk about Zach?
Can I ask you? Do we know who's behind it yet? I'm still hearing the Saudis.
Well, I think there's an element of the Saudis, but Tyndall is the guy.
He'll be the face of it.
Yeah, he's the guy trying to get it done behind the scenes. And there's a few of them involved, but they stuffed up when they tried to launch it the year before a World Cup, because no one's going to leave the opportunity of playing for their country in a World Cup and turn their back on their country to go and sign with R360. It was the worst time. They should have waited till the World Cup was over, and then they should have launched this new franchise and this new, game that was going to take over the world, right? Like,
depending on how much money they were going to be offered, whoever was.
But I think what they did was, it's like they've gone. They hadn't sold it to the investors or whoever was putting the money in. I reckon that they've tried to sell it before getting the money. So they've gone, okay, this is going to be great.
Okay.
We'll go and get X, Y, and Z. Then the money will come then. So they've gone and tried to procure players and do all that, haven't got the response they wanted. The investors have gone, well, mate, you aren't ready yet. We're not doing this.
Yep.
And that's okay, and good luck to them. But, the timing of it is terrible, But there's still rumours around that some players have got signed non-disclosure.
I've heard that players have already signed non-disclosures,
Which takes us to Zach. We'll get there, because the big story about him was that he walked out on Parramatta, long-term deal, was signed with R360. was happy with that decision and good luck to him.
Yeah.
Didn't work out. They folded. Instead of going the rugby union route, which we'd spoken about, which we thought he may go to Japan, Europe.
Did I hear there was a Brumbies deal on the table?
Well, there was rumours, but it's Waratahs.
Waratahs. Okay.
No, hang on. I'm going with Crichton there. I don't know. There probably was. I was thinking of Crichton.
Anyway.
There probably was.
Yeah, I was hearing Brumbies rumours.
But, mate, you don't get, like, if you sign with the Brumbies, it's peanuts, mate.
Yeah.
Until you play for Australia.
Yeah.
It's very incentive-based, the rugby union. And I reckon that's why he didn't do it. Like, he probably wouldn't have got offered big money from, he certainly would have in Japan, you would think. But even Europe, you've got to be a bit more, have had a rugby background and showed some sort of evidence that you can play the game.
Japanese rugby are very high on respect, and something that's happened, like the situation that Zach's in, they see that as disrespectful. You've got to have a real clean slate to get into Japanese rugby, and I don't think it starts till maybe June, July. I'm not too sure. So
I'm surprised that he didn't take that option. If he's going to land at 360, go to Japan or Europe. So what that tells me is maybe the interest wasn't where he thought it would be.
Yeah.
And now he's landed back to rugby league and trying to play for the Melbourne Storm. I was on Fox. We did a podcast and I was pretty adamant that unfortunately for Zach, he's created this himself.
Yeah.
And I think it's just bad luck.
Yep.
And as much as I like him and I want him to be a success in whatever he does, this is one where, we've got to start really standing up for our game, and Peter come out with a 10-year ban. And I think if he backflipped and found a way for Zach to play and get around the rules, then it wouldn't look good for us and it wouldn't look good for him. I just think,
So why are they getting involved now?
I think they've just sort of – so Melbourne aren't going to swap a player. Then they went for the 200K, which was never going to work. But I think they've gone, he's a big name. He's a rep player. He's good for our game. Maybe we do let him back in. But that's
it just goes against everything that he was beating his chest about all year.
That's right.
Right? Yeah.
The NRL don't need to get involved here. There's obviously an agreement with Zach that when he went to 360 and left, that he wasn't to return to any other club, and that was a deal with the Para, and they're holding firm on that, and so they should. Now, Parramatta have lost a player that could help them win a premiership, and then they want to. You can't let him waltz into the door at Melbourne, a premiership contender, and just go, yeah, sweet. Like it's not fair.
I think Parramatta, they know full well they're not going to win the court case. They might win the court case for 2026. It's definitely what do you call it? A restraint of trade.
But it's not a restraint of trade if he signed an agreement, a contract that said you cannot play for any other team in the NRL.
Till the end of 2028.
I don't know, mate.
That's when the court
I don't know the details.
Yeah, it's till the end of 2028, right? So the Supreme Court's going to look at that and say, look, yes, he signed a contract, but we can't keep him out of the game for that long. I reckon, I'm confident that the courts will come back that he can't play for 2026 and that he'll be free to negotiate for 2027.
I think that the strangest thing is that with a guy of Zach's ability, Parramatta were quite content to let him go and then wouldn't even consider taking him back. For a guy who'd only been there for a year.
That makes me wonder, were there issues last year with Zach?
It makes everyone wonder.
Well, yeah, I know I'm only, guessing.
And,
so.
Anyway, we don't want to go into that because we just don't know enough detail about it.
It's just ugly. It's just a shame that it's going to have to go through the court process.
Yeah, it is. And it'd be interesting to see. I always had in my mind that Melbourne will get him. They'll find a way. And if the NRL are backing Melbourne, which it looks like they are, then I just feel like it'll happen.
So if Melbourne have money in the cap, or is that, what are they doing?
They've definitely got money in the cap with the losing Nelson, Jonah, and Pappenhausen from nowhere.
So let's just say they give Zach 650 and then they're offering another 200 to Parramatta. Maybe
it's not the money though, mate.
So obviously that 650 goes back into the Parramatta cap. does any money, just say the compensation, $200,000, does that go into the cap as well to Parramatta? Or is that just like a $200,000 for your business?
Yeah, no, I don't think it goes in the cap because the cap's got nothing. The cap is the 650, like you mentioned.
Right.
The 200, I would just think is more of a,
just like go and put some portaloos at the back or something.
Go buy some more pokies for the Leafs club. Adam O'Brien and go play.
Go call it.
Let's not go back there. I'm only joking. A couple of fans got upset with that last year.
Yeah.
With his Happy Gilmore check.
Just on the 360 thing, how does Volandis and the NRL combat this threat again? If it's going to be coming back in 2028, what sort of plans can they put in place to make sure our biggest stars don't consider it?
The only plans they had was a 10-year ban. Does he bring that back?
Yeah,
does that
because
remain?
it happened so quick. All he could do was be aggressive with his stance and say this is going to happen. But now you've got 2 years or maybe 18 months to plan for this threat to come again. Like what's his sort of incentives going to give these high-profile players? Like we spoke about it. Like players owning their IP, being able to earn more money away from the game. Maybe,
I don't think that'll ever happen.
You don't think? Yeah.
No, because if you sign a contract, the NRL pretty much own you.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's all about money, right?
It is, and the cap will go up because the TV rights deal has been negotiated as we speak. I think that's got to be done over the next 12 months. Has to be done, and then the cap will go up, so the players will earn more money, and how much that goes up or what Peter wants to do to incentivise or our players to stay in the game. I think it's like evolution of every international sport, global organisation is the more money you earn, the better you do, the more players are incentivised and more they're paid, and it's just evolution, right? So I think the players need to earn more money and should earn more money if the game's killing it, which it is.
And R360 will be fully aware of that, that the NRL will be incentivising their players, so their pay packets might even go higher. So I think all I'm saying is that Peter and the NRL are going to have to come up with a great plan to keep our best players in the game.
Again, you compare it to Live, right? Live Golf.
Yes.
Is that, who do you want to be? What do you want to be defined by? You can go to the 360, get your money, and look at Brooks Koepka. He returns tomorrow to the PGA, so he's done his Live, done his time at Live. And the reason I refer to this is so similar. He goes and earns $100 million over there. After a couple of years, he's coming back to the PGA Tour. They said that they wouldn't let Live players come back. Brooks Koepka is a big deal. They've let him come back. So this is what, is going to be interesting is what stance we take. What stance does Peter take so that, these players can't go and just come back as if nothing happened because they go and get their earn, But should they be allowed to do that too?
So what's the difference between Angus Crichton and Zach Lomax? Is it just because it's this rogue organisation that the NRL are a little bit more offside? They're going to.
It shouldn't be any different.
It shouldn't be any different, right? So Angus Crichton
goes back. He's at that age anyway.
He might come back.
Possibly.
You don't get tackled in bloody rugby union. Far out. Like I honestly deep down want the Wallabies to do well, and I'm glad. I'm not surprised that he's going over, but what's the difference?
What do you think of that, Crichton going to rugby?
I think it's great. He's won premierships. He's won World Cups. He's won Origin Series. Grew up playing rugby union. I think he'd be a fantastic number 12.
Yeah.
That's more of that crash ball kind of. It's kind of inside centre's more of like a back row, right? I think he will need to create a pass though. But I wasn't surprised by the signing basically.
Yeah. No, I thought it was good too, and I think. Well, Mark Nawangana is going as well, and like everyone says, is it a threat to our game that rugby union are taking our players? No, because these two players that Rugby Australia have signed are ex-rugby union players.
Yep, and
they've got a year now to not less than to learn their craft or so-called learn their craft before the World Cup, but they already know the game.
Yep.
And we've both played rugby union, so we get it. If you don't know it,
The amount of rules.
In 12 months to play a World Cup for the country, it'll very rarely happen.
Yeah.
So they actually can only come and get players, I think, on short notice for the World Cup, for example, that have played the game and know it well, or else it's just not going to work.
Yeah, and people in the comments might be able to correct me on this, but I believe the Northern Hemisphere make the rules, and because they're very ruck and scrum orientated, that it sort of negates the attacking style of the Southern Hemisphere. So there's just so much that goes into learning rugby and the stop-start. I think they've got a big job ahead of them trying to learn the game of rugby union. And the best number 12 in the world right now is a Wallaby. So,
all right, what about coaches under pressure?
Yeah.
For this year, who stands out to you? It's always a topic heading into the year.
Yeah. It's not something we particularly like talking about.
No, we don't.
But it's news.
It's reality.
It's reality.
Because we know how cutthroat our game is, and we know how quickly it can be taken away from you as a head coach if you don't get it right. And there's always one or two getting sacked a year, right?
Yeah. Yep. I think the first person that comes to mind is Todd Payton. 50% win rate, got him to the finals in 24, lost 14, won 9 last year. So, yeah, the pressure cooker's on him for sure. Yeah. I think he'd be under the most pressure out of all the coaches, I believe.
Is there anyone else? Because a lot of people a lot of people have mentioned.
Did you say Seabold?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely, actually.
Especially with player unrest, what we heard.
And a side that's got a huge question mark over it heading in. Yeah, last year they kind of didn't have much of a backbone, Manly. You know?
I wonder how much
they were really inconsistent.
You know, like we can all speculate and all the innuendo around DCE. I wonder how much of a distraction it actually was.
Well, I think it was because, again, hearing from inside the camp and getting a lot of information out of it was that the players weren't happy about it. You know? Okay. And as much as I think a lot of them are friends with him and all that, it's still a distraction, and it's still unsettling for your captain to leave. That early on in the season, and he had every right to. But it was. What about Trent Robinson, Robbo with the Chooks? I mean, there's a lot of. You're talking about DCE. There is a lot of hype around the Chooks. I'm not sure if it's warranted myself. And we can talk about it now. I'm not saying it's not. I'm not sure if it is warranted. I'm not sold on this premiership favourites that some people have got them at or think.
Oh, really? People have got them up there.
Listen, they're not favourites to win a comp by any means, but a lot of people have them in that category.
Right.
Definitely the top 3 or 4. I think the jury's out, and there has been a little bit of chat around Trent Robinson if this is actually his most important year, because I think with Robbo is whenever they've hit a bit of a slump, the Roosters, they've never really, not for a long time, since he's been there, they've never really completely fallen off. He gets them back, to a point where they're in contention, but they haven't been able to get it done.
They nearly fell off.
Yeah, they've nearly fallen off a lot.
Just recently, though.
Yeah, and then he gets it
after the
couple
Cooper
of runs,
and then they.
Well, last year and the year before, I'm pretty sure they did the same. Yeah. I mean, last year was a strange one, but year before, I'm pretty sure they were looking terrible and they come good at the back end.
Yep.
So, but that isn't going to cut it with the Roosters and Nick. They want to be like consistently here.
Yeah.
And this year, the reason I say Robbo is because this year they've got a better team, you would think, or a team that's evolved a lot last year with a lot of young guys coming through to a point where the expectation's higher this year than it was last year.
Yep.
What do you think there?
No, I didn't do any sort of prep on the Roosters, but just one player that comes to mind is someone like Nafahu White, who was very, very raw at the start of his career. It's only been a short career so far. But the way he played at the back end of the year and played for New Zealand, I thought was outstanding. Their young forwards, another year of experience. DCE, Savala, where does he go? Does he come off the bench? Robert Toya, Robert Toya, such a young kid. I just feel like he fell away at the back end of the year.
Maybe Origin caught up.
Yeah, I think Origin might have caught up. And for a young kid, that's a lot of rugby league. Look, given their roster, there's no reason why they shouldn't be top 4, top 6. What do you do with Sam Walker?
Well, this is the thing, right? Like, I want to lead this into probably talking about a few halves pairings.
Okay.
And we'll start with this. Walker and DC, does it work, doesn't it? They're both the same side players, right? So one of them's going to have to play out of position. I would think that's going to be – they're both right side players. Mm-hmm. So I would think that's going to be DC who's going to move around to the left because they're not going to move Sam because Sam's the incumbent. It's his team. DC's coming just for the last year or two to try and win him a comp, right?
I thought Sam Walker was a left side player. I think he defends on the left.
Aren't they both right? Or am I tripping?
No, Semi's left. Yeah,
Is he
defends
left?
on the left.
So they are left and right.
Yeah, left and right.
Someone
They're both
told- I
right
did-
foot kickers.
I did the podcast on Fox the other day. They told me they were both right.
No.
I don't know why, because I wasn't sure about that, and they said that he
Right
was.
in the
I
comments,
don't know.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good thing then. That's a
Yeah.
good thing if they are not the same side. That helps. But, see, even though they're similar styles of player, I think DCE's game management hasn't been great because they didn't go so well, but I think he can really hold up Sam. I mean, Sam's game management, that's his Achilles heel. I mean, you can go through a whole season playing like Sam Walker and, play like a superstar, look like a rock star, but when you get to the big games and it's more important to find grass or to get a repeat set of 6 and not go for the long cutout or the little chip kick or the impossible grubber, he can't help it. He's so instinctive. That's his first thought.
Yeah.
Is whatever's in front of him. It's not, okay, what's the clock?
Yeah.
What's the score? What are we going to do here? What have we got to set up for? How am I going to close this game out? Or where am I going to come up with this big play? He doesn't, to me, looking at that, that's just not the way he plays. I don't know if he can ever get there.
Do you think there'll definitely be deep conversation from the coaching staff to them both about who is the more dominant half? Because I think back to when we played Braith, because you were such a competitive, dominant half. Shifty wanted the ball as well. So it was always sort of hard for the 9. Are we going left? Are we going to go right? So it didn't create problems for us, but one half's going to want the ball more than the other, right?
I think it's good if both halves want it.
Yeah.
Because that means they're looking up and they're seeing opportunities.
Yeah, of course.
And really it's up to the
It's
9.
up to the 9 to make the right decision.
To look up and go, who am I going with here?
Yeah.
And as the season goes on, you kind of work out who's having the most success in different parts of the field too. And then you get a bit of a feel for it when you should go to who and who's more convincing with the voice,
Yeah.
And that's a good problem to have, right?
Yeah.
But the big problem for the Roosters is going to be their defence at 3 on both sides.
Yep.
They are too. If you have a look at stats, I'm not a big stats man. I would guess that they are in the bottom half of halves for defence. Both of them.
Yep.
Both of them.
Yep.
So and Sammy's a small body. DCE poor decision making last year and question whether he's willing to put his body on the line there a couple of times. We spoke about that. Now, if you've got 2 targets these days, both sides against the top teams in our comp, which they've struggled against, in Cleary and Walsh and those guys are just isolating them at 3 on the edges. Can they last the whole season? And again, it comes down to the big games.
Yeah.
And that's a concern.
They love playing their expansive style of footy, but they did come up with a lot of errors, didn't they?
They always do. That's the Roosters. They if they complete, they normally if they complete over 80, they win.
That's right.
But they can't do it.
And obviously, what you've just touched on, their 3 defenders being an issue.
Yeah.
So
and Robson at 9. I mean,
he'll tighten that ruck up.
He will
defensively.
He will. I think for Robson, it's like you spoke about before, and it's ruck recognition and eyes up on who to go to as well. And he reminds me of Friendy a lot, Robson, where he's tough and makes his tackles. He's a team player, And really with DCE and Sam, you just want that. That's the type of 9 you want. You don't want a Connor Watson or, that type of style of player who just jumps out and runs and doesn't really look up as much as they should and has, you just want a guy who's
Just a
do
little
the
bit
job.
erratic.
You want service here, out in front, on the run, 2 running 5'8",
Correct.
2 halves, running halves. Here, out in front, so you've got time at before the advantage line. You don't want to be copping passes here, there, off a slow play the ball. Look, you just want service. And Robson's really good at that. So he'll complement then. Let's touch on a couple of other halves pairings before we move on.
Yep.
The big ones, I think, would be the Bulldogs and the Dragons.
Yep.
And they're playing in Vegas. So let's kind of what are you expecting? Start with the Dogs. What are you expecting? How are you going to – if I said to you the first – what are the Dogs going to look like after 6 to 8 weeks? I'm going to give you that. So I want you to try and be Nostradamus and tell me how you see it going the first 6 to 8 weeks with their halves.
I would like to see Woods get a crack over the trials period. I'd like to see him get the first shot at the 7. I would like to move Galvin to 6, and I said it last year. I want to put Burton at number 1. No disrespect to Birdo, but I just feel like he comes in and out of games too much, and if he has the 1 on his back, he has no choice but to get involved. He has no choice but to have 20, 30 touches. So I'm hoping, I'm praying that Woodsy is the answer at 7. Galvin's got a preseason under his belt now. He's the 6, and Birdo moves to fullback. I don't think it will happen, but I think that's their best team moving forward.
Which leads me to this then. The reality of that happening, until maybe that, like I said to you, so you've answered my question. The reality is, though, it's going to be Galvin Burton. It's going to be Galvin Burton. And it was quite evident they didn't quite prove themselves in that position as a combination at the end of last year. It's not to say that they won't work or they haven't had a big preseason and they could come out of the blocks and we could see a halves pairing that could win a competition for the Bulldogs. That can happen for sure because they're both high quality players, really elite players. It's just the combination, and whether it can gel and whether they can get the best out of each other and the team. Now, do you think it'll work?
I need evidence.
Yeah.
I need evidence. If I saw that combination the whole year last year, I'd say, look, it's something that needs to change. But he did. When did he come in for the Dogs, Galvin? Probably the last, say, 8 weeks or something like that. You've got a whole preseason now. I just don't know, Braith.
Yeah.
Do you like Burton at fullback though?
Yeah, we spoke about last year. I do. I mean, I think because I look at Latrell and some people say he shouldn't be fullback, he should be centre. But either way, I look at Burton and can see him having a similar impact. Like with his long kicking game,
he still gets a kick long.
If anything, he'll support more than Latrell would.
Yeah.
And you look at Latrell coming out the back with that cutout to wingers and short balls to centres for tries. Well, Burton could do that. He's a ball player. He's a 5'8".
He's a big boy.
Big boy. And I can see him getting involved in the game more naturally because he has to, like you said.
Yeah.
I actually think it could work. And I wouldn't move Crichton because he's the best centre in the game. So
No way.
I think if you're going to take a hit to see if you can go a few steps backwards or to bring the young halves in to see if they can complement each other and form a formidable combination, then Burton would be the guy I'd put back there. Tracy needs everything to go his way. Like Tracy, poor kid, back end of the year when things weren't going their way, then you get exposed a little bit.
Yeah.
Like when they had the halves pairing, when Sexton and Burton and they were on a roll. Like they had momentum. Tracy just got the ball in the right parts of the field and, he did a magnificent job. He was in career best form. But as soon as things went against them, slower play the balls, indecision with their halves, and he had to try and create something out of nothing or wasn't getting the ball in the right spots, that doesn't suit him.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, he could be the fall guy. But, I tend to like that. What concerns me about the Dogs, and I've said it so much, I think they can win I think they will win a comp within the next 3 or 4 years.
Yep.
But this is a kind of bit of a stumbling block that happened mid last year that I'm hoping can be put to bed, you know. But there's still a lot of pressure on them to start the year because all eyes will be on it.
Yeah.
And that's just the reality.
Yeah.
Which leads me to the Dragons. The Dragons, Atkinson, signed him as a half, Kyle Flanagan, King Tongia. A lot spoken about the halves pairing last year. Lockie Ilias dropped, moved on now to the Gold Coast. So now Atkinson comes in, you know, King Tongia and Flanagan were the halves pairing last year. They're saying Atkinson's going to 7, Flanagan at 6.
I saw Atkinson play a couple of games at the Sharks in the halves. He did well, but still that's not enough evidence. Look, you know what you're going to get from Kyle. He's all heart. He'll have a go. Will he? He lacks spark. His kicking game might be a little bit too short. And this is not, you know, I don't want to bag players, but I still don't believe that's the answer for the Dragons.
Yeah. Is
that halves pairing? What's your thoughts before I'm going to ask you another question?
I think that the Dragons have showed evidence that they turn up.
They turn up.
9
games they lost by 6 points.
That's a good thing for Shane
Absolutely.
Flanagan. Like if you know they're going to turn up and be in most games, then you know, and they don't have the greatest roster, then that's a positive. You know, like that means you're on the right track in terms of work ethic. Or, you know, although probably some of those games might have flattered them a little bit that they were close in. Like they just found a way in a lot of games to stay in touch. You know,
and that's a good trait to have.
It's a great trait, just what I said.
Yeah.
Now, of course, I'm not sold on the halves pairing. Like, the reality is I'm not sure if Atkinson's a 7. And a 7 is different in lower grades, even though I don't think he was a 5'8", wasn't he?
5'8". He's sharp, though. He's quick.
He's sharp.
He's quick.
But you got to run a footy team, first grade rugby league team, and if you haven't done it your whole life in lower grades or even last year because he was in and out of first grade and they didn't play him a lot, you know, it's a big step. And then you're stepping in next to Kyle, who, you know, was solid for them last year and will continue to do what he usually does, but there's always high pressure on the situation there, you know, and we all know why. So, you know, it's going to be interesting to see if they aim up and if it works. And on the flip side of that, I'm actually a big fan of King Tongia.
Yeah.
I think he's got great footwork, really good vision, creates opportunities all the time. He's a point scorer, and that's where they struggled last year. I thought he was their kind of X factor a lot of the year, but his defence was terrible.
Defence was off, yeah.
You know, so I'm sure that they've worked on his D or preseason, but if he comes back, you know, there's just again like you know, there's a lot of unknowns there in that spine, apart from Gutho, but there's a lot that could play out, and you know, I heard that, you know, Mick Innes and Flano have said, "Oh, you know, our trust is in Atkinson and Flanagan, and that they've got the keys to the team for the first few months." Well, that's if they lose the first 3 or 4, which I don't think they will, but if they did, then you know, all of a sudden, what are they going to do? You know, who's the 4 guy, and that becomes the story because of, you know, the situation. You know, and King Tongi will be waiting there for a crack, but
what do you? What's your thoughts on the Keon signing and the $1 million price tag?
Well, you know, I think it's great for Keon.
Great for Keon.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Is he $1 million player?
Yeah, if I'm South, there's no way I'm re-signing him at $1 million a year. So it was, you know, they can't, you know, they can't keep him for $1 million a year.
Yep.
In my opinion, he's a great player, but he's not $1 million a year player.
Yeah. So therefore, it puts pressure on the Dragons' cap moving forward.
Yeah, it does. And the Dragons, unfortunately for them, with the situation they're in, probably got to pay overs, right? Like most teams at the bottom or just bottom tier, they're going to have to pay a little bit more for these players. And that's fine. And they need to make a play and they need forwards. I think it's a good signing for the Dragons. Will they get their money's worth? I don't know. You know,
statistically, he's one of the better back rowers, middles in our game. I just don't see Keon as an enforcer.
Nah.
You know what I mean? But all credit to him. If you can get $1 million, good on him. And I think he is a great player.
He deserves it.
I'm just worried now that you can't keep playing overs in today's game to to strengthen your
I
roster.
think if you're playing overs, it's got to be the right one.
It's got to be the
It's
right
got to be
one.
exactly who you need.
Exactly.
And it's a bit of a gamble, but that's life.
Yeah.
That's rugby
So
league.
I maybe would have
Who do you go, though, if you're not going Keon?
I would have looked somewhere in the halves. I would have looked for somewhere, or maybe even you've got Val Holmes. Who's their wingers? You've got. I would have maybe. Yeah, I don't know. They definitely need a strike. And unfortunately, the Couchman, the twins, they get injured a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, look,
I think they'd still be like they still have money to buy a few players, the Dragons, and I think you'll see a few of the guys on the edge there getting cleared out, especially if this year doesn't go to plan. I reckon a lot will sort of go to the wayside, and they'll be still looking for some big scalps.
how old's Gutho now? I reckon they'll be looking for a good fullback.
Yeah, in the years to come, he's still got a couple of years in him. He had a pretty good year last year.
Yeah.
You want to play a bit of rapid fire to finish, do you, mate? Is this what you?
Can I just go back onto the coaches one?
Yeah.
Do you think Fitzy's under a little bit of pressure?
Mate,
And I love Fitzy.
I love
and we're
played with
mates
Fitzy, and I love him to death. And
What would you say he's
I said it
under a
on
little bit?
360. I just couldn't help myself. Like, you know, I wouldn't say pressure to lose his job. I think it's more pressure on himself. Like, okay, I can get this team to the finals every year, but we're not really premiership contenders.
Yeah.
You know, and it's
What are they missing? It's hard
I
because
think
they've got a great side.
yeah, I think it's just big game players, mate. It's the big game. It's to win premierships, to win anything, whether it's Super Bowls or the Masters in golf. It's how do you deliver on the big stage under the biggest pressure, under the most pressure. And they don't tend to have those players. And that's their challenge. Can they get to that? How does he get them there? He's got the talent, but how does he get their mentality there? How does he get them to a point where they believe and they deliver in the big moments?
In the big moments.
That's Fitzy's challenge. And, you know, because he's been so consistent, he's such a great coach and a great guy, I don't think you could sack him for them making the top 6 again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it is one that's interesting, you know? Maybe he'd be this is another thing. Does Fitzy think, well, no, he doesn't give up on anything, though, but you just say another team approach Fitzy. I don't know how long his deal is. Fitzy's a premiership winning coach, I believe. But does he have the roster? Is it a Fitzy thing or is it the – you know what I mean? There's kind of – if you gave Fitzy a Brisbane, you know what I mean? Like – or a Roosters.
Yeah. I think maybe he needs to slightly evolve maybe his coaching as well.
Yeah.
His style of play. Because they are respectfully quite a boring team to watch. But that's what gets you through the comp to make you finish in the top 4 and it set you up for semi-finals. But it doesn't necessarily win you a comp.
All right. We're nearly
give
done
me-
here. What do you want to finish with?
Just give me 3 players you're looking forward to watching this year.
Reece Walsh.
Definitely, I'd say Reece Walsh.
Well, I'm going to say Jonah Pezzett because of the situation.
Yeah, I'd love
like that's clear.
I'd
I'm
have to
his
agree with that.
manager. He's a big call there to go to Para. Fa'alanga, Melbourne, with no Pappenhausen.
Wow.
And him at fullback.
Yeah.
I love watching him play.
Mate.
He's so good to watch, and he'll get more game time there now, and I think he's ready.
I think one other player is Ethan Strange.
Yeah, I love him.
Yeah. Especially what he did at the back end of last year. I think if Ethan played that game in the semi-final where he pulled out sick, was it the semi-final or the last round? It was the semi-final.
Last game, wasn't
It was
it?
the last game. He pulled out sick or was it the semi?
I can't remember.
Anyway, well, I think they win if he plays. That's how good, that's how much, that's how highly I think of Ethan Strange.
One rule you'd scrap immediately. The short dropout.
Yeah, I've put it right here. Short dropout.
Short dropout.
Short dropout.
Does my head in.
No consequence. No consequence. If you had one player to build a team around, who would it be?
Isaiah Qatar.
Yeah, wow.
I think he's going to be one. He's going to be one of the best halves ever.
I thought maybe Payne Huss because of what he delivers on the field. But when you're building a team, it comes with off the field. And I don't know if he's much of a – I'm not saying
I reckon he's a machine off field.
Sorry?
He's a machine off field.
No, but I mean a communicator, a leader, a person that – because he leads with his actions, Payne Huss is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that's why I like Katoa. And I'd probably say Cleary as well.
Yeah. It's like the chicken or the egg. Like when you're looking to be – and someone asked me, would you rather Reece Walsh at Perth if you had the first pick, or would you rather Haas? You can only pick one of them. If I'm Perth, I'm going Haas because I'm thinking I want to get an engine room. I need a forward pack. So then you can have a young half off the – you don't need a Reece to be competitive. You need a good half. But if you've just got Reece Walsh and you've got no pack, he's got no quick play the ball and you know what I mean?
Right.
It's kind of a hard –
yeah.
It depends on the team in the position they're in.
Yep.
Anyway, that's it.
Yeah, I got a couple.
Oh, you got some more. Oh, he's on fire, Reni.
Oh, I just thought we'd make it a little bit interesting.
When he was in Samoa, he had plenty of time.
All right, pre-seasons, thoughts and memories.
Pre-season, the memories, all my memories are from the Bulldogs, really, because they were the most, that was my first real eye-opener to hard training, and, it was full on. I loved it. I'm the type of guy. I love competing, so I turn into everything into a competition. So I get obsessed.
Still do it now.
I still do it now. So it's you're going back overweight and shit condition, and you're going to be sick and dead set world of hurt for the first 2 or 3 weeks.
Did you prepare for week 1?
No. I didn't even do that. I didn't even do that.
So we'd usually come back with a beep test,
and
there was usually like, I want to get to maybe 13, or 12 or 13, and so I know I can improve.
You never go full out first.
Yeah, because you knew you had
to beat it, or else you had to beat
it. Well, I end up in the fat squad.
Yeah. But my memories were like Billy Johnson when I first got there, but then Gary Carden, which we've spoken about quite a bit, and Folksy, but it was all like triathlons, biathlons, on the bike, swimming sessions where, Nigel Wagner, Maitua couldn't swim.
And they had floaties.
The Polynesian boys, you actually, because you surfed in Maruba, you were sweet, but a lot of the Polynesians couldn't swim, mate.
They still can't.
Mate,
when I was in Samoa,
they live on an island.
Mate, honestly,
what are you doing in Samoa?
Well, this is the thing. When I was over there, I said to my cousin, "Let's go for a swim." She goes, "I can't swim." I said, "The water's across the road." All right, just a couple more. When was the? Do you have a specific moment when you knew you were done with footy?
Oh,
I know mine.
Yeah, actually, yeah. I played. When I was obviously it was the Tigers at the end, and it wasn't going well at all. But the Mick Potter at the time, because I think I've mentioned it, but the Tim Sheen's got me there and playing the halves and all that. Yeah. And then Mick came in and he put me in the halves a bit, but then back right. He was moving me around. It was just a disaster. And then he out of nowhere he put me back at 5'8" at Campbelltown, and I hadn't played there for 5 or 6 weeks. I just lost my I lost my touch, which therefore lost my confidence. I had it was probably the worst game of my life. On the field, I wanted to walk off and just never come back.
Yeah, wow.
It was a moment where I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Like I'm hating myself. I'm hating my footy. I'm playing like a bastard. It's embarrassing. It's actually to a point where I was embarrassed.
Yeah.
And I was like, I've always never been, like I've always,
You've always been a competitor.
But always competed. Like even in my bad games weren't that bad. Whereas this was bad. And I'm like, this is not me.
I was drinking a bottle of red the night before a game.
Oh, really?
Every week when I was over in England, and that's when I knew I think it's time to wrap it up. Just a couple more, mate. One thing that footy gave you, mine's structure.
Yeah.
I need structure in my life.
Yeah.
And that's what I struggled with in retirement. I think most people did. But yeah, one thing that it gave you.
Career, mate. Even now.
Just gave you a career. Even now, yeah.
Like
correct.
it's built, it's my life. I wouldn't have been able to do what I'm doing right this second, 360 or any of it if I didn't play footy.
What did footy take from you?
A lot of precious moments, I think, with family and friends.
Time, like holidays. And
Yeah, because from the whole season, you can't do anything but play footy. You miss a lot of weddings and christenings and trips away. Like, they're only little things, but it's only the big things, Your mates going to Europe, and those special moments that they all shared and schoolies and all that. I missed all that, and
schoolies. Toolies.
Actually, I made up for it a few years ago.
Two more. Coach you feared the most?
Ricky Stewart.
Sticky?
Without a shadow.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was terrifying because, I mean, in saying that, I loved him, but then it was if you weren't doing well, it was terrifying.
You knew about it if he was off you.
Oh, couldn't hide it. You can see that with his emotions.
The old cat's arsehole.
Yeah.
And last one. Player you'd never room with again.
Oh, Piercy.
Give us the story.
I
just want to hear a story.
He's like a 12-year-old. I mean, he's grown up now, Piercy. Honestly, I thought I was rooming with a little kid, like just a mess. Because his mum, until he was 35, I think his mum still did all his washing and ironing and cooking.
Oh, what, your mum still doesn't do your washing?
No, I do it all. Are you kidding?
Hang on.
I don't even want to kick you out of my...
I was on the phone the other day when Kim was on loudspeaker and she was still doing your ironing.
Not true. Actually, she did the other day. She did. No, but that's with the kids and that, mate. Come on.
Hey, I still live on my mum. I still live with my mum.
That's true. Why are you fucking throwing stones?
Look, I'm moving into my own
But actually,
place.
I spent the whole day yesterday doing it.
On Friday, and the person I hated rooming with was our boy Willie Tonga. He used to snore so loud that I would drag my mattress out into the common area to sleep. And on game day, if it was a night game, he'd shut every blind. You wouldn't see any sunlight, and he'd sleep.
Oh, that'd kill me.
And you know what I'm like. I like my sleep.
Yeah.
But that was me boy Willie T.
Exciting room with you
and
two.
I think a lot of players would concur that Willie Tonga was very hard to room.
Good old Willie Tonga.
Willie T, we love you, baby.
Love him. All right, that's it. That's it for our first episode.
Yep.
We'll be back next week. We've got a lot coming up as we get closer to the season. We'll preview a few of the teams, but we didn't want to do too much of a preview without seeing any trials or, we know a lot of the other podcasts have been previewing sides, and we thought we'd wait until we hear a bit more about how they're travelling, how players are going inside their camps, and heading into Vegas. We'll have plenty more. So enjoy your week and see you next week.
What's gambling really costing you?